with me this evening. I received it today from Morgantown. It is Section 4 of the comprehensive plan, which we engaged WVU to prepare. There is one section left that has to be done before the plan is complete, and we went with the city of Parkersburg and Wood County to do a housing study, and so they are going to incorporate the results of that housing study as it relates to the city of Vienna in the 5-year plan, and then they will present it to us in its completed form. That's the update on the comprehensive plan. Chris, anything else for you, sir?
Yeah, I guess, I understand that we have a plan in the works from WVU. I have a lot of concerns about the methodology and the effectiveness of that comprehensive plan. It is a county-wide comprehensive plan, meaning that it encompasses the entire county and not just the city of Vienna. So there's a small section in that comprehensive plan that addresses the city of Vienna, but I feel like that misses the mark for what the city really needs to be able to plan ahead and move forward and kind of have a cohesive direction for the city. Even before I ran and got elected, I had asked about a comprehensive plan because the West Virginia State Code requires that we're supposed to do this every 10 years. And I know that the COVID pandemic definitely affected the kind of turnaround time for producing a comprehensive plan. But even then, the city of Vienna's last plan was done in 2007. So technically we should have had one done in 2017, which was before the pandemic even was around 3 years later. So with all of that said, I understand that we have a comprehensive plan that's coming from the county that we'll probably adopt and approve, but I think it would be extremely beneficial for the city of Vienna and very forward and thoughtful of us to try to do a further in-depth comprehensive plan specific to the city of Vienna, and hire someone like a professional company who does this. And I've looked companies out there, planning groups in Columbus and Cincinnati and Pittsburgh and Charleston that do this day in and day out, and they're not a professor who's doing this kind of as a kindness to the county. I know we're paying them a certain amount to get that comprehensive plan done, but again, it just seems like it's lacking in the depth that the city of Vienna could really use to have a clear direction moving forward. To highlight just a few of those things, I have been in discussion with that professor since June of last year. And he kind of explained to me that the pandemic slowed things down. They had started the process in 2019 for a county plan. But even in June of 22, he said that they had planned to have everything done by the start of the fall semester. So at that point, I mentioned that I'd be happy to be a point of contact for the city of Vienna because of my background and experience in architecture and planning. And I didn't really hear anything until I reached out again in August, which was about the time that the fall semester was starting, and I expected them to be wrapped up. And he said that work was progressing more slowly, but that it should be completed by the end of the year. And so again, I said, I'm happy to help. Let me know how I can speed things up. If you need anything for the city of Vienna, I would love to help be a part of that. Didn't really hear anything again. And then beginning of December, I reached out, assuming surely at this point we'll have something. And I was told again that things were moving slowly and it should be done, hopefully, maybe. And now we're into almost March, and we're just getting another section, and we're being told that there's still some other things that have to be done. So this process has started in 2019, and then the pandemic hit, which I understand. But now we're almost 2 years out of the pandemic, and we still don't have a comprehensive plan for the county. And a lot of the objectives for that comprehensive plan for the county don't even address the city of Vienna in any way. So I have even taken the time to write up an RFQ to try to hire somebody for the city of Vienna, because I really think that it's something that it's not just a document that we say, hey, we did it, we put it on the shelf and don't look at it again. The state code even suggests that we pull it out once a year and have our planning commission review it and review our progress on that. So it's a pretty important document for the city of Vienna to have, and I think that at this point, not to say anything bad about the work that has been done, and we could probably even incorporate a lot of that because it has a lot of that demographic information and stuff that we need. But at the same time, I think we need to look at a comprehensive plan specific to the city of Vienna.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I agree with Chris. As a matter of fact, last budget season, the 22-23 budget, this was before you were on council, and Chuck was in your position, but the council voted to put $30,000 away for this comprehensive plan, and that may not be enough to cover it. I don't have a clue, but at least it was a placeholder. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with my microphone here, but I know when the plan was done in February of 2007, that the city used an outside agency like what Chris is talking about, Gannett and Fleming Incorporated, and they were assisted by the Mid-Ohio Valley Regional Council, and so we got a plan that was specific to Vienna. I think that the county plan views Vienna and Williamstown as well as supplemental to what their overall county plan is, right? So a lot of things have changed in Vienna since 2007, and and I've said this before, most significantly is the purchase of the Manville property. We also have, the OVU property, which is mentioned quite frequently in the 2007 comprehensive plan. That's, that property is for sale. I don't know if it's been sold or whatever, but so we have a lot of things that have changed. And I think our city would be better served if we did a comprehensive plan that was focused on Vienna instead of being an add-on to the county plan.
Yeah, just as kind of one example of my concern about this countywide comprehensive plan, in the section that they got public input for the city of Vienna, it said that they did a general survey, and in that survey they had 72 responses logged by the system, including incomplete responses, and individuals who logged into the system then declined to complete the survey. So a lot of the information that they have, especially in regards to public input for the city of Vienna, seems extremely inadequate for what the city of Vienna needs. And that's, I know that there are challenges, and they were trying to do this during a pandemic, which makes things difficult, but even at that time, I feel like we should do something that is more inclusive of the community and has a little bit more input than 72 partially complete responses. And that's kind of where I'm coming from, is saying that the city of Vienna needs its own plan that is fully inclusive and is really thoughtful about the city of Vienna and not looking at a big picture of the county.
So, just for your information, one of the jobs that I had previously was being president of the Wood County Planning Commission, which I served in for a number of years. And the comprehensive plan that the Councilwoman Williams refers to was done in conjunction with the county at that time. Gannett Fleming took our plan right off the county's. And so it's the same format that was done previously. So this is nothing new. The comprehensive plan requires an incredible amount of background information and history and all of that stuff to go into this document. And so my only comment on this is, let's wait and see. We're almost finished with the comprehensive plan that we engaged in. And when we get it, if it's not something that you can live with, Chris, then at that point, then we can readdress this and say, okay, maybe it's not as defined as you would like it to be, but the comprehensive plan that we have undertaken with Wood County under the direction of WVU is almost done. So my comment is, I want to see what the document is, and then if that doesn't satisfy you, then we can address it at the time.
I understand that sentiment, and I do think that it's important that that gets completed. But I kind of laid out, they started that in 2019, and I have followed up several times in the last year, and I was told that it was almost complete and we were almost done, and we just need to change a few more things. And to me, that's a lot of time wasted. That the city of Vienna is kind of sitting around waiting when we can be proactive now and go out and start a comprehensive plan and have it done in 6 to 8 months, and we can have a really strong plan set in place. Because at this time, I don't know that, do they have a specific deadline for when they plan to provide that?
I'm like you. I've had multiple conversations with them.
Yeah.
And they've had different deadlines, and they've not met one yet.
Right.
But that's irrelevant to me. The document is coming. It's almost completed now. And so we are behind. Once this document is completed, if it's approved, we've met the conditions that are required. And then if you're still not happy with it being specific enough to Vienna, then we can address that. But I'm not going to cancel our arrangement with WVU at this point in the game.
No, I'm not saying we should do that by any means, but there's no reason why we couldn't go ahead and be proactive and start the process for our own individual comprehensive plan for the city of Vienna.
I've told you my opinion. I know yours.
Yeah.
If council feels like we need to go down that road, then that's the direction we'll go. My opinion is, and it won't change, is we've worked on this. We're almost completed with it. Let's wait and see what it looks like. All right. That's my only argument. I don't care.
Okay.
I'll do whatever I'm asked.
Yeah. So I guess a follow-up question to that then is, at this point, if I am adamant about this and feel like we should bring it before council, do I need to bring that to the council as a resolution to move forward with a comprehensive plan for the city of Vienna?
Yes. Yes. It's not an ordinance, obviously, because it's a one-time event.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, Tom.
If it is in fact pretty close to being done, if we took off on our own, doing our own plan, we probably have to duplicate a lot of work that's already been done.
What would happen is the new firm that would be retained would simply capture all the historical stuff that's in here, and they would just, use that same information. The only difference between the plan that is being done and if you do one specifically for Vienna would be that they would do their research within the city limits of Vienna. Okay. And, there again, Chris and I have a difference of thinking on this one. Vienna is such an integral part of the county. Everything that we do and everything that Parkersburg does, we all have to work together. That's how this comprehensive plan works, is whatever moves Wood County forward or the Mid-Ohio Valley forward gets us better.
Well, you just stole my argument.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Roger Bibby usually does. But, we're all in this together, and we all need to work together. And what's good for Vienna is sometimes it's good for Williamstown, not always, or it's good for Boaz, or it's good for Parkersburg or Belleville or Walker or wherever. And if, in fact, it's almost done, then I think we ought to read it before we take off doing our own, because a lot of what we would do, probably some of what we would do has already been done.
Yes. And the comprehensive plan that we had before, if you take the goals that are listed in it, almost every goal that was set has been completed. I mean, it's incredible how much of that work has been done. So, but obviously the plan being a plan would be, what do you want to do in the next 10 years? Okay, so,
I have
but
a
anyway.
question. I have a question and a comment. Well, I'll start with my comment first. I think the one significant thing that wasn't mentioned about this comprehensive plan is that it wasn't created by any stakeholders here in Vienna. That's a very significant difference. I attended Parkersburg when they did their comprehensive plan. I attended a meeting at the Art Center, and they had all these tables set up, and they broke it off into groups, and they talked about different things, and then they met later, and in the evening, and they had a big conversation about it. And I thought it was really productive because you had business people, you had community members, you had elected officials, and I think that's a key component that we're missing here. And I think that's what you're really trying to highlight. My question is this, because for whatever reason, this is being delayed and COVID and all that stuff. I understand that. But are we prevented from going ahead and doing an RFQ and thinking about companies that we might want to use? And then if the comprehensive plan comes back and it's wonderful, everything we wanted, despite nobody here in Vienna was involved in it, but maybe it's perfect, and we don't want to move forward, then we're not under any obligation to go forward with a company. Is that correct?
Right.
There you go.
Anything else on the comprehensive plan this evening? Okay, then the last item on our agenda this evening is the update on Jackson Pool.
Yeah, it's just going to be another short one. I spoke with Omni last week. Actually had I happened to be in Charleston at the same time that they were at the Municipal League Conference, and spoke with them and asked them what the latest is, and they're still waiting on some final pieces to come in from Martin Aquatic. So as soon as they have those, then they will meet with our design team and keep moving forward. So things just take time, and so that's all I have for now.
Okay, so that concludes our agenda this evening, and we move on to council comments. I would like to have it put into the minutes that Craig Richards, our longtime engineer, he was with the city for 20 plus years. He was a resident. He served as chairman of the Planning Commission for a number of years. He worked as a professional engineer with Burgess and Nyepel, and he was without a doubt one of the greatest friends that the city of Vienna has ever had. Passed away on last Friday, and Craig will be missed so much, because every project where we had to go to Charleston before the Public Service Commission or any of the other agencies that we had to make a presentation, he absolutely represented us so well. And he is going to be sorely missed by the entire city of Vienna. And he was just a fantastic human being. I'm sorry, and it's a shame. He was a great person. The second thing that I have on your desks, you will all find a copy of the general fund budget. You will find that it is a balanced document. Next week, we'll have our council meeting where all the department heads will be here, and you will be given an opportunity to ask questions or do whatever you want. But when you look at the document, you will notice that Mrs. Roberts put an explanation sheet in the front of it, giving you the budget notes. So you'll need to look at those and make sure that the items that are of interest to you are covered. And then after we meet with the department heads, then you will be able to suggest whatever additions or corrections you feel are necessary. There are a couple things to remember, though. We do not have our defined insurance number yet, and we do not have our defined income numbers from the county for our property taxes. And so those numbers typically don't come in time, and so we estimate those numbers based on historical calculations, because it doesn't vary very much over the years. So that number will change for sure, but not enough to make any difference. So on the first page that you see, we're under revenues. The little zero that's up in the corner tells you that it is a balanced budget. This budget could be submitted to the state as presented, and we could work within the parameters. So that's the thing. Next week, we will meet with the department heads, and then we'll get into the meat of it. All right? Any other council comments?
Last week, I enjoyed being able to go to the Midwinter Conference for the Municipal League, West Virginia Municipal League. It was a really neat experience to be able to meet, mayors and council people and recorders and clerks and things from other cities around the state, and to see kind of, I think, the whole picture in some ways, to see that we're a part of a whole, and we really are. We're all so different. We have some common interests, but it was really neat to get to meet other folks. And I think my favorite seminar was the one on the Ethics Commission. That was awesome.
Did you get the printout today?
I don't know. I haven't looked yet, but yeah,
If you didn't get it, I did.
okay.
And I would like everyone to have that because it is a great program.
It was awesome. Like I would go to a full day session on that one. It was really good. And we got to go to the Capitol on one of the days to meet with our legislators and talk about things that were important and important from the city standpoint, from a municipal standpoint. And so I made sure and stopped by and saw Bob Fehrenbacher and sat with him, and we talked about the things that were priorities and things that might be hindrances for cities. So it was really good. I really appreciated that, and hopefully we'll be able to go to another one in some time.
Melissa and I were both down there at the same time. And so there were multiple presentations going on. So she took part of them, I took part of them. But I think the interaction with the other people gives you a really interesting comparison of how cities work. So I also enjoyed it very much and felt it was well worth the time. So, all right. Anything else?
Yeah, just real quickly, just a quick scan of this budget, and I appreciate it being here in this format. I think it's very easy to read. But I had asked Mrs. Roberts to have a sheet just for Spencer's Landing because I think we need to think about developing Spencer's Landing. So I'm really disappointed I don't see that, any money at all considered for Spencer's Landing, any future development. And I'm especially not very pleased about that this evening when we're going to give money, for the rodeo. Nothing wrong with the rodeo, but it's going to take, budgets are about priorities, and it's going to take some people who really want to see something happen at Spencer's Landing besides it just being the way it is now. I mean, we've owned both of those properties for nearly 10 years now, and one side is just a hulking, it's just rebar and concrete, no plan. We don't even get updates on it, and it's been several years now, and we should have gotten a certificate of completion for the Manville side. That's not happening, and then nothing in the budget as far as a priority for funding for Spencer's Landing. So that's my comment.
Anything else?